You have got to be kidding me. I'm not sure we're going to pull through this. We need some serious reinforcements. Around 500 should make a difference. Hint, hint. Also, want to apologize. This video came out a bit late due to an outage in my area last night, and for some reason, 343 thought Forge being only online was a great idea, and I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about that, but we're here now, so let's get on with it. So you saw that Phantom, right? That frickin' gunship raining hell on us? Yeah. This tutorial is simply going to show you how to capture that Phantom in order to manipulate it in the script, and less about what scripts to use on it, because those will be separate tutorials as not to jam this one up with too many specifics, so I can dedicate the time into explaining those scripts more in depth so you know what to do. Let's fly out to the field, away from this mess of a battlefield for a bit, and get to work. Okay, so we're back out on the field with a blank canvas. You're going to want your spawns to not be here. We're actually going to place our initial spawn and our respawn point somewhere else because that's to show you how this works. I did the hard work for you, so you don't have to do what I did. I had to test and just constantly respawn in different places close to where the Phantom could be to find out how this worked. But luckily, I have a system, so you don't have to. So we're going to go ahead and grab our Phantom and place that down. Make sure it's on the ground, intersecting with your nav mesh. And here's the settings we're going to need to change. The team doesn't matter if you want a gunship shooting at you, but I'm going to set it to my team so it doesn't kill me, so we can watch what's happening. The units don't matter for me right now because we're just trying to get the Phantom to do what we want. Just turn on both the turret and the side gunners. This doesn't matter unless you want it to matter. Squad behaviors, like I said, doesn't matter. I'm just going to turn magic side on because it's a habit. And this right here doesn't matter either. Initial spawn delay, I'm not going to even trigger this by a script because we don't need to. We're just going to have it spawn in as soon as the game starts. After about a second or two, so that way we can get a grip on where we're at up there. And that's it. That's all we have to do because it's always going to be facing forward, unlike the other AI spawners. The Phantom will always be coming from behind this, so it's the way it's facing. It's going to be coming from back there, and it spawns always in a certain spot unless there's an object back there blocking its way. It will spawn somewhere else. But luckily, we're not going to have that, and if you do, it's a little harder to use this method. So this is usually only good for getting a Phantom in an open area or whatever, which you can do that in a tighter spaced map. You just have to have the spawner set somewhere out over there or something outside of your map where it can spawn like it's supposed to. So anyway, it'll always be facing forward, so it's going to be coming from back there. And now the exact amount of units is I don't have an exact number. I know there is one. But it's somewhere around 14 or 1500 units back and 400 units up. I do, in fact, have a very important prefab, which unfortunately the last few videos have not had a prefab in the description because Halo Waypoint is not cool with me right now, I guess. It's every time I go to the content browser, it keeps giving me error 500 internal server error. And I'm really not sure why it's doing that. And that's the only way I can get my links for the prefabs for the videos. I can still upload the prefabs and from Halo itself, from the game, and they're fine. But I can't seem to access Waypoint to get the links for you. I'm going to see if I can resolve that as soon as possible. But this is a prefab you are definitely going to need. This will make the process unbelievably easy for you. You won't have to do any kind of calculations or guessing. This is the ruler. This will tell you exactly where your phantom will spawn in your map. And it, like I said, it's the same every time as long as it has room. And as long as there's not something around in this area blocking its way or blocking its way all the way down to where it's supposed to be, this is where it will spawn. It will spawn right about right here, somewhere in this area. So how do we watch that? That's where we're going to set up our little spawn platform. We go down here. I'm just going to set up a little block that I can spawn on. Go ahead and increase its size a little bit. Bring it down about right here. Make sure it's not in the way of the phantom in any way, because it does get kind of picky. It doesn't like to have things around it, because I'm pretty sure they did not want you to get this phantom into the node graph, but it happened. So here we go. Get our gameplay spawners, initial spawn, and our respawn, so that way it all functions right. Place it, snap to ground. That was strange. It bounced. There we go. Okay. But if we leave this here, it won't spawn. So we're going to move this to the side a little bit, out of the way of the phantom. But you notice I put it in the center. I aligned the center of this. Oh no. There we go. I aligned the center of this with this because that's important. So that way you know that the center of this is where the phantom will be spawning, and it spawns around the same like area as this. Okay. So now we can just test it, and this phantom will spawn after 2 seconds right here. There it is. It spawns around the top of this. So this is the bottom of the phantom, and then you'll have to, you know, work with the area up here, and it'll keep on going. Now, how do we get that into the node graph? That's the great thing about the area monitors. It allows you to pull objects into the node graph that you actually have no other way of getting in there. Like things that you can't reference because they're not able to be selected or pulled into the node graph because they're not spawned in yet. Like a phantom is not spawned in yet, so we can't pull that into our node graph during the Forge mode, and we can't do it during gameplay. So this is how we do it. We're going to create a pointer right here, and we're going to turn this. We're going to turn the boundary on. Oh, that's too far down. We're going to turn this into a boundary. So that way it turns, you know, into a volume. Turn this right here. And we're going to place it right about here. So that way the phantom doesn't just spawn inside of it in case that causes some issues. We're going to place it a little bit further right here. And that should do it right there. Now we go to the gameplay. Yeah, gameplay. And we go to boundary. And we turn that to box. And we just increase the size. I want to say a 30 by 30. Let me go ahead and get it set up and make sure, because it might be a little bigger. That should be good enough that it will capture the phantom. And I don't mean it's going to stop the phantom, because luckily this does not count as an object that you can interact with or anything, or that will get in the way. So the phantom will just go right through it, and it won't stop the phantom. We're going to need to script a script brain to script it to be put into the objects that we can reference. So let's place a script brain down. Go ahead and open that up. So that's the one we got selected, even though I only have one. But if you have more than one, you want to select the script brain and then open it before holding Y, because it'll open up your previous script brain that you selected beforehand. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring this in. I'm not going to name it because we don't need to. At least I don't, not for this tutorial, but you can name it because there's other things that we're going to do. Yeah, so now we have our area monitor up. Now we need to go ahead and start an event with on object entered area. It's already selected, look at that. And now we need to go down here to variables basic and grab an area monitor. And what this does is, well, if you see my previous tutorials, this simply just checks when something enters our volume or our pointer. And when it does, something happens. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to need to set up the Holy Trinity, since that is what allows us to use objects that may not technically be declared at all yet. Okay, so now when it is set, go ahead and hit this, and we can connect these two. We don't need any delays, and the object will be the phantom that enters it, and that should be all we have to do. Gonna go ahead and name this phantom as our identifier. Our scope's always going to be local unless I say otherwise, because most of the time you don't need global, but there are some scripts that I'm working on that require global. So not Phanatum, Phantom. We don't need this one technically unless you're going to run scripts using it, but I will be at the end of this tutorial as a optional thing, just to show you it worked. There we go. Scope local. Okay, so now we're all set. You won't notice it because we don't have a script set up to run it, but it will be registered as that object variable, and you can do whatever you want with it using this. And anything you can do to an object, like a vehicle, like a AI, like a block, like an effect, you can do it with this. You can destroy it, move it, make it invincible, all kinds of great stuff. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to make it so that way you can at least see that the area monitor was entered and something happened. So we're going to delete it. We're going to delete the area monitor once an object enters it. Right here. There we go. And to do that, we're going to make sure that you can see it in the first place by turning show to on. Now when we do it, the phantom's going to spawn, it's going to enter that, and it will disappear. On a side note, I did forget that I needed to move that, so let's try that again, because you noticed it was in the way, and the phantom didn't spawn where it's supposed to, but now it will. Area monitor is gone, it was effective, it worked. Now that phantom is now registered as an object that can be registered or read by the script and, you know, manipulated the way you want to. So I'm just going to do a little, this is the end of the tutorial essentially. That's all you need to do to get your phantom registered into your script. So you can go ahead and turn the video off now if you want, or you can go ahead and, you know, stay for this little optional bit. But I'm going to set up a way to show you for sure that that is the object that we can manipulate. Okay, and what are we going to do? I'm going to set object position. I'm going to teleport that phantom indefinitely and just constantly, every time I crouch, it's going to go back to that one spot. Now we're going to start it. And every time I crouch, once it enters this and gets registered, it will teleport back to there. 3, 2, oh, there we go. We can do whatever we want with this phantom. So you can technically make a stationary phantom if you have a thing set up to constantly set its position instead of me having to teabag to make it do it. And it will get all the way down there, and I can just instantly crouch, snap it back. And it will not stop. The phantom will stay in the map and will not despawn until it drops its troops. So you can have it set on a path like a gunship, and it will never go away unless you destroy it. But there you go. That is 100% proof that you can, in fact, get the phantom into the node graph. And like I said, I'm going to try to 100% get that prefab of that ruler into the description, because it's just, that's so important. It makes this process a lot easier. I did all the hard work for you, and I hope that you can use that to make your maps a little better. So now you have the power in your hands to do whatever you want with the phantom. Well, at least within Forge's limitations. And if you don't know how to do what you want, you already know I'll be here to show you step by step how to do it, if it's able to be done. I'll be back again tomorrow with another phantom tutorial. See you then. Wait a second. It's awfully quiet outside. Did they manage to stop the attack? Shit.
Last man standing.